Hello and welcome to AviaDev Insight Africa, the podcast offering a window to the world of African aviation with your host, John Howell, CEO and founder of AviaDev Africa. Now, today we have a very special episode as we are heading back to the land of the brave, beautiful Namibia, our amazing host country for AviaDev 2024, to check in with our AviaDev Ambassadors. For those of you who are not aware, each year we run a competitive process with a local educational institution to select a small number of AviaDev ambassadors. The process is highly competitive and it involves submitting a selfie video answering an industry-specific question. It's then judged by our independent panel. In isolation, we get together and we decide who the winners are. It's been a real success over the years with a growing number of AviaDev alumni soaring to great heights in their career. And now that we've been doing it for so many years, we're seeing some real developments take place. And it's one of the elements that I'm most proud of creating. And I really hope that other events and other organizations take on something similar and don't just talk about doing something for the next generation, but actually do something. Now, the winners themselves, once they're selected, they have the opportunity to be part of the AviaDev team for the week. So that means they are part of our team helping with the registration process, with the delegates, and also taking part in all elements of the event. So the dinners and the receptions and the networking. But the icing on the cake is really being part of the conference agenda and being up there on the stage in front of all of these aviation professionals from Africa and beyond and presenting to the industry. That session is available on YouTube, so we'll put the link in the show notes so you guys can go and watch that as well and see how it's done by the professionals. What we're going to do now is check back in with our 2024 ambassadors, Uno and Tuli, who join us. Both of you, welcome to the podcast. Welcome for your first podcast experience.
Thank you.
All right. Fantastic to have you with us and great to catch up because we're sitting here on the 2nd of October. We're 3 months post AviaDev. Mm-hmm. So Uno, kick us off. How was your AviaDev experience?
Firstly, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you find yourself at this hour. My AviaDev experience was truly incredible. It felt surreal. It felt so significant to be part of the event, especially in the African aviation space. It was not only a platform for networking, but also a chance to share ideas and learn from the brightest minds shaping the future of aviation in Africa. And the energy was also very contagious. And I also felt very proud to represent Namibia and my passion for aviation at large.
Yeah, I think it's really nice that you bring up the energy because that's something that we really try to focus on, to build the energy and then keep that momentum, because that is what drives an event, is the willingness of people to engage and have those meetings and really want to move things forward. Tuli, what about you? How was your AviaDev experience?
My AviaDev experience was absolutely transformative. The energy, the networking opportunities, the insight from the industry were incredible. It's not often where you get to interact with so many aviation professionals around the world in one place. So I feel fortunate to have been part of AviaDev.
It was great to have both of you with you. So let's dive in a bit deeper then, Uno, in terms of your highlights of the week, the things you look back on most fondly that you enjoyed the most.
The goodies we're receiving from all the companies. But as an ambassador, one of my biggest highlights was getting to interact with industry leaders, hearing their insights firsthand and building relationships with them. Also, the opportunity to be on the ground and involved in the behind the scenes activities was a unique experience. Meeting a fellow ambassador, Gladys, was also a highlight because she helped us a lot throughout the whole event. And the whole team, in fact, and exchanging ideas on how we can collectively push the aviation sector forward in an environmentally sustainable manner was also a highlight for me.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on keeping the previous ambassadors involved in the event wherever we possibly can. And yeah, Gladys has been to quite a few events now and was a student of mine at Coventry University back in the day as well. So she's been there. She's part of the family, as you all are, and everybody listening to this that has been an ambassador as well. We've got I don't know exactly how many now, but it's probably around 25 or 30 spread around and doing amazing things as well. So Tuli, let me come to you. What about you? Anything you wanted to add that Uno hasn't covered that you thought was a particular highlight?
For me, I would say a standout moment was the networking session where I connected with both startups and industry veterans. The range of topics discussed from innovation in air travel to sustainability really opened my eyes to the border of potential of our industry. Yeah, that's it that I can say.
Amazing. Let me stick with you because I want to give you first bite of the next question. So let's talk about your session. Let's talk about how the experience was and how you prepared and whether you were nervous or obviously with your pilot training and me knowing you quite well now, both of you are very cool customers. You can fly me any day. But how was it in terms of the preparation for the session and just the overall experience of being up on the stage and how you felt at the end?
Okay, my session was thrilling. Speaking at AviaDev gave me a platform to share my perspective as Namibia's ambassador. The engagement from the audience was amazing, and the support from the AviaDev team made the experience even more enjoyable. And even afterwards, people still came to me and my fellow ambassador Uno and closing us. And yeah, it was a good experience. Yeah.
And Uno, anything you want to add on your experience? How was it for you?
Yeah, my session was rewarding as I've studied public speaking as well in varsity. It acted as a platform where I could actually put what I was taught in theory into practice, but also speaking about Africa's aviation sector and how it can grow rapidly while ensuring environmental sustainability was close to my heart. As I spent days leading up to the session doing research, I even left the dinner at Rombo's early to go and continue doing research. But I was able to share my passion for aviation and environmental responsibility with an audience that understood the importance of these ideas. And as an ambassador, it was fulfilling to use my platform to advocate for the future of the industry in a way that aligned with my values.
Amazing. And I think the point that you both brought out is you had a full room for your session, and it's something that we focus on is not having conflict of content. So everybody's in the conference room in the mornings and then taking the meetings in the afternoon and then having some networking relaxed time in the evening, and of course the morning run as well. And I think they're all pulling for you when you're up there on the stage. They're interested to know what you've got to say. They know that you're coming from a place of with new ideas as well. That was one of the reasons that we put this session together. But I think it'd be really nice now to hear a bit of feedback from the community, the interactions you had across the week, but especially post your session. What kind of stuff were you hearing?
The feedback was overwhelmingly positive. It was heartwarming to hear from both industry professionals and fellow participants that my session resonated with them. Many people expressed their appreciation for highlighting the balance between growth and sustainability, which is something we need to prioritize more in aviation. Some even reached out on LinkedIn to discuss potential collaborations, namely Sedi Flies, Sedi Modise on LinkedIn, and which was incredibly exciting. And others, Eben Nengola from the Namibia Airport Company, he also reached out to me on LinkedIn, and we ended up exchanging numbers and furthered our conversation on WhatsApp. And it's quite interesting the feedback that I got from the speech that I gave, because I spoke about, I think, affirmative action, and he found that very impressive on how I was able to speak about such a not sensitive topic, but let's call a spade a sensitive topic. Yeah, and he wanted to further the conversation, and we did.
Yeah, it's a real topic in Namibia. We've already seen some of the impact of the event in terms of new routes being announced. So
Yeah.
SAF Air are starting Cape Town Windhoek, SAA just announced this week they're going to increase service, add an extra daily service. You've got Air Botswana, you've got Discover putting more flights in. So it's getting that balance right. And I think you guys talked to this delicate balance between how do we grow and how do we remain sustainable. And sustainability is such a all-reaching topic. It's not just the environmental side, it's the impact on local communities and what the infrastructure can cope with as well. And I think, having that conversation with Eben, for those who don't know, he's the airport manager at Hosea Katako in Windhoek. So he's a great contact for you to have. I'm looking forward to him hiring you and getting you involved in the NAC. That is something to do, my friend. And Tuli, what about you? What about your interactions with the community and some of the specifics that came out?
The feedback was positive. I had several people reach me afterwards, sharing my insight resonated with them, especially regarding the growth of aviation in Africa. It was encouraging to see how many people were inspired by discussion. And I remember there was a time where I was actually in the supermarket and a lady approached me saying, "Oh, you're the guy who was on TV." I never actually knew that I was actually on TV. She approached me saying, "Oh, you're the guy who was talking about the hydrogen and the fuel that was discovered in Namibia." She was actually inspired that I was actually a pilot, and also on our discussion as well. Yeah, so I think it was a positive feedback from the community. And afterwards, I was in communication with Lesedi, like Uno mentioned, from Sedi Flies. So she's working on to collab with me and see how things move forward from there.
Great. I hope you signed an autograph for the lady in the supermarket. You could sign her receipt from her groceries. And I'm glad to hear that we're making you famous. And the key is to keep that momentum up as well. We saw that there was so much interest, and there is so much interest in Namibia and in sub-Saharan Africa in aviation development, because people see the benefits that it will bring as long as, like you say, the balance is struck. So one question I wanted to ask you both, because I think we have a variety of people that come to AviaDev, but they are linked by a passion for route development, is what was the most interesting, I'm not going to say the most interesting person that you met, but the most interesting job that somebody you met in the week? Uno, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I can't quite remember the person's name. But I remember speaking to them they spoke to me about working on the development of green airports across Africa, but I really can't remember who it was, which was absolutely fascinating. Their job involves integrating renewable energy and sustainable technologies into airport infrastructure, something that is not only innovative, but also necessary for the future. It was inspiring to see how they are turning the vision of environmentally friendly aviation into a reality. It's just a shame that I can't remember their name. But yeah, that was
It sounds like it would be maybe somebody from Netherlands Airports Consultants. Maybe it was Marcel or somebody from his team. But I'm sure if they're listening to this, they would know. And what about you, Tuli? Who did you meet that was particularly interesting?
With me, I met, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but Cheniel from SEME, the Chief Commercial Officer.
Yes.
He flew into Namibia with one of their aircraft, and it was fascinating to discuss their operation and the challenges they face in the industry. The insight into the future of regional air travel were incredible and inspiring, and he also highlighted the potential of growth in the African aviation sector. Yeah, I'll say, Chanel.
Yeah, I think for all the people out there who know Chanel, they'll be like, yeah, that's not a surprise. He's a larger than life character and he's great fun. And they've done amazing things with the airline in terms of becoming almost a leasing company over the last few months. And that plane that he arrived on was flown by the CEO of SEMAIR, was flown by Miles. So he came in with his boss, and it was pretty cool that SEMAIR flew themselves to the event. That was particularly cool. But again, anybody who knows Miles won't be surprised by that either, because he's done that before. Right, now let's focus back in on you, because it's about, we've talked about your experience at the event. I think what we'd like to talk about now is obviously what's next, because when we first met you, and you guys are both at NATA at the Aviation Training Academy, which we supported with the outreach, with obviously the program, and with the run as well, the morning run. So you're both aspiring pilots. I think it'd be great to hear about what's next in the immediate, medium and long term in terms of what you would like to do for your careers.
Yeah, what's next? Definitely continuing my journey towards becoming a pilot while staying actively involved in advocating for aviation development in Africa. Having been an ambassador for 2024 has also opened doors for me, as in people on LinkedIn are contacting me. They can't wait for me to get a license. And I plan to use the connections that I've made to further my dream of contributing to sustainable aviation growth. And I also plan on completing my PPL and then pursuing further training. While completing and furthering my training will remain a priority while I keep building a network in the aviation community. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think that's great, because being a pilot, I'm in touch and contacting lots of pilots through LinkedIn. They share a passion for the industry. And I think that's really important, because some people who start out as pilots, they might end up as CEOs of airlines because they just get into the business and it's in their blood. What's the time horizon for you? What do you think in terms of getting the PPL and getting the CPL, or whatever it is, that wherever you want to go, like best case scenario? How long have you got?
I think 3 or 2 years. 3 or 2 years.
Okay.
For sure, yes.
Okay. Let's say two. Let's focus
Yes.
in.
It's achievable.
Why not? Be optimistic. Absolutely. And what about you, Tuli? Because you were obviously a bit further in your journey to be a pilot, and you were working with NATA as well. So are you still doing that? And where are you at?
Currently, with me working towards my commercial pilot's license. Currently, also working as a flight operations officer at NATA. And next, I'm focused on completing my commercial pilot's license, as I said, which is a significant milestone in my journey. Long term, I aim to continue building my career in aviation, not only as a pilot, but also in management, shaping the future of African aviation.
And while we're on this, what's your dream aircraft to fly? Who knows? Any aircraft in the world.
An Airbus 320. I even got
320, okay.
I even got
A little model.
the model, yes, the little model.
I have one here, actually. There's a 320. Avion
Yeah,
Express 320.
I have the
There you go.
Airbus
And
one.
what about you, Tuli?
Same as well, Airbus 320.
Yay.
Wow. Everybody I ever ask this question, they always say an Airbus 380. So you must be the next generation, because most people, they always go, oh no, the dream's the 380. And who knows, that might come back one day, and it's making a resurgence at the moment. My dream would be to be on an aircraft piloted by you guys. It'd be absolutely amazing. It'd come full circle, but also to be involved with you coming to the event in a role as a commercial director or a route development manager or a revenue manager or a CEO. I think this is really key as well. And Namibia is making great strides when it comes to aviation development too. Yeah, I've got my fingers and toes crossed. So before I let you go for today, what about your advice? Because of course, what we're going to do is next year, we're going to work with a local institution in Zanzibar to find our next ambassadors. What would your advice be for them, both in terms of preparing their submission and obviously getting involved in the event? Tuli, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, sure. My advice would be to embrace the role fully and make the most of every opportunity. Engage actively with the community. Be open to learning from different perspectives and use this platform to advocate for positive change in aviation across Africa. Always remember your journey is defined by the heights you dare to reach. I'll repeat it again. Your journey is defined by the heights you dare to dream. That's the advice I would give to the next
Wow,
AviaDev
beautiful.
ambassadors.
Fantastic. And what about you, Uno?
My advice would be to fully immerse yourself in the experience. As an ambassador, you have a unique platform to engage with industry experts, share your insights, and to represent your country. Make the most of it by networking, asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions because these people are here for you. And stay curious, but not nosy, curious. And don't forget to bring your authentic self into every conversation because the aviation community thrives on passion and collaboration. So be authentic, be you. Don't try and be like someone else. And also remember that the journey is different for everyone.
I think that's a great point to make because we're very happy for people to be themselves at AviaDev. We're not a political event. We're not focused on regulation and legislation. People, CEOs show up in trainers and jeans, and it's not a problem. Like, you do business, you are who you are, and we're there to make these routes work and to connect Africa and create jobs and create economic prosperity. I think the last thing I would like to say is just to thank you both for being just amazing ambassadors for AviaDev. We selected you for this, but we hadn't met you particularly. We had a little lunch before the event, and you just really embodied everything that we want from an ambassador, and you're part of the family forever. So a big thank you from me.
Thank you very
I
much.
am grateful to have served as an ambassador for 2024, and I look forward to seeing you in Zanzibar.
Exactly, yeah. And so does everybody else. That's great. So thank you both for sharing your experiences with everybody today. I will put the link to both of your LinkedIn profiles in the show notes, and also the link so people can watch the session from AviaDev as well. We do hope that those of you out there did enjoy the conversation. And if you did, please hit the share button, share it to somebody in your network that would benefit from having a listen to the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll be back for the next episode very soon. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.